Thank you for watching Shattered Trust Tales. Before we get started, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We truly value every single one of you. Drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from. We'd love to know. My name is Gavin Cross, and I once believed my marriage was unbreakable. That belief crumbled in the most unexpected way, all because of something so minor, so subtle, that most people would never notice. The missing tan line where her wedding ring should have been. It began when Arya, my wife of 15 years, returned from a so-called bonding trip to Portugal with her sister. She came home radiant, skin kissed by the sun, hair tousled from the ocean breeze, and our kids in her arms. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. But when I hugged her, something felt off. Her smile seemed rehearsed, her eyes sparkling, not with happiness but with secrets. I tried to ignore it, but a pit formed in my stomach. That night, after putting the kids to bed, Arya led me into our bedroom like newlyweds again. She wore a playful bikini, claiming she brought a piece of the beach home with her. I laughed, pulled her close, kissed her as if I had missed every second. But when her straps slipped down, I noticed something odd. Her skin was evenly tanned, with no pale mark from her wedding ring. Not even a faint line. I stayed quiet, wanting to enjoy the moment, to pretend all was fine. But when the lights went out, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, haunted by that small detail. Arya never removed her ring. She always said it was part of her. So what changed? In the following days, more clues started to emerge. She guarded her phone obsessively, laughing at messages she refused to explain. While folding laundry, she murmured, "I feel so free now," eyes distant. I overheard whispers between her and her sister about another spa weekend. The tone made my skin crawl. I had to uncover the truth. I installed a keylogger on the family laptop, something I never imagined doing. It didn't take long before I found her secret. A new email account under the name Sterile89, using our daughter's middle name as the password. The messages inside were shocking. Hundreds of emails between Arya and a man named Landon Pierce, a travel photographer she met in Portugal. At first, they exchanged friendly jokes about cameras and photography. But soon, their conversations turned intimate, sharing fantasies, planning secret meetups. She called him darling. They even joked about moving in together. Her sister, Celeste, was involved too, having a fling with Landon's best friend, Miles. Their trip had secretly become a double date. I felt like I was drowning, yet I didn't confront Arya immediately. I needed more than digital proof. I wanted her to feel what I felt. Betrayed, powerless, exposed. So, I reached out to Darren, Celeste's husband, my brother-in-law. Over coffee, I told him, "I think our wives are cheating on us." He laughed at first, then noticed my expression. "Say that again," he whispered. I showed him the emails, photos, and plans for a fake spa weekend. His hands trembled. "You have proof?" he asked. He nodded. That night, I stared at our wedding photo on the nightstand. Arya's eyes full of love, our vows, our daughter's first steps, Christmas mornings, anniversaries. Then I looked at her sleeping next to me, pretending all was normal. That's when I made my decision. Darren and I agreed not to argue, not to yell, not to cry. We would plan revenge carefully, letting them walk into it blind. We created a fake spa itinerary and booked hotel rooms under our control. We hired a private investigator, Simon Cray, to wire the rooms, track movements, and gather evidence. Arya and Celeste's father, Walter, joined us. He had lost everything when their mother cheated and quietly agreed to help. The pain in his eyes said it all. He wanted justice. By Friday, everything was set. Arya and Celeste were radiant, excited, and packed. They kissed the kids goodbye like devoted mothers. Arya hugged me and said, "You always trust me, Gavin. That's why I love you." I smiled, kissed her forehead, and said, "Enjoy your weekend." Once they passed airport security, I called Darren. "They're in the air." He replied, "Perfect. I'm at the hotel now. Cameras are live." We flew to Chicago the next day, claiming a tech expo as cover. Walter came along, silent, fists clenched, staring out the window. At the hotel, Simon showed us the live feed. Room 603, Arya and Landon. Room 605, Celeste and Miles. They were flirting, cuddling, drinking wine, acting like teenagers. No shame, no remorse. Walter said nothing and quietly left. Darren asked where he went. To pray, I said. Or maybe to cry. That night, Simon gave us USB drives and folders. Screenshots, chat logs, burner emails, GPS data, and a photo I'll never forget. Arya removing her wedding ring and tossing it onto the nightstand. Walter returned late, face somber. The next day, while the women were out brunching with their lovers, Walter bought 3 plush toys and a pink gift bag. I didn't understand until I saw the tags. To Mommy from Ava. To Auntie from Max. These weren't gifts, they were emotional grenades. Walter had one more surprise. He brought the kids. My daughters made this mess, he said. Let them see the cost. At 1:13 p.m., Simon texted. Targets are back. Showtime. We gathered outside room 603. I turned to my son Eli. Whatever happens, stay strong. He nodded. I knocked. Housekeeping. No response. I swiped the key card. The door clicked open. Chaos exploded. Arya scrambled off the bed, barely covered in a sheet. Landon froze, shirtless, phone in hand. Behind me, Eli's voice rang out like thunder. Mom, what are you doing? Arya's eyes widened. I didn't flinch. Walter stepped in behind me, phone raised, recording everything. A process server entered next, handing her an envelope. You've been served. Arya stammered. Gavin, please, this isn't. I cut her off. You threw away 15 years for a beach fling with a man who doesn't even know your middle name. Landon stepped forward, but Walter's glare froze him in place. You destroyed your own family. This is absolutely my business. I looked at Arya one last time. I hope the tan was worth it. Then I walked out. We left that room like a funeral procession. The sound of their sobs echoed behind us. I didn't turn back. Not even when Eli gripped my hand, whispering, Is Mommy not coming home? She made choices, son, I said softly. Now we make ours. Down the hall, Darren stood outside room 605. His daughter Lena, only 7, held a stuffed giraffe and a handmade card. I watched her face light up as she whispered, We're going to surprise Mommy, right? Darren's jaw was tight enough to crack a tooth. He nodded and knocked. Celeste opened the door, wrapped in a towel, hair still damp, eyes wide. Lena, where are you? She called. But Lena ran into the room, laughing, delighted. Then she froze, seeing Miles, shirtless, sitting on the edge of the bed. The silence that followed could have sucked the air from the building. Celeste's face crumbled. Darren, I can explain, she said quickly. But he didn't answer immediately. He looked at Miles, voice low and deadly. Get dressed. If you're still here in 10 seconds, I won't be responsible for what happens. Miles scrambled to cover himself, gathering his clothes. Celeste tried to step between them. Please, not in front of her. Darren snapped. You didn't care who saw when you were moaning someone else's name. That's when Walter stepped in. My granddaughter's first hotel memory, he said coldly, will be of her mother cheating. Congratulations. Celeste looked as if she'd been hit by something invisible, something fatal. The process server stepped forward, handing her the envelope, snapping a photo. You've been served, he said, then vanished like a ghost. Back in the suite we regrouped. I sat on the edge of the bed while the kids quietly played, oblivious to the emotional battlefield around them. Walter stood by the window, gazing at the Chicago skyline. I failed them, he whispered. No, I told him. They failed you. He shook his head. Their mother taught them that loyalty is optional, that love can be used as leverage. Some scars run deeper than fathers can fix. His voice cracked, and for the first time I saw Walter cry. Not at his ex-wife's funeral, not through all the hard years, but now. I knew then. This plan wasn't ending. It was only beginning. Back in Minneapolis, I filed for emergency custody of Eli and Josie. Arya called me 33 times in 3 days. I didn't answer once. Her voicemails ranged from sobbing to screaming to pleading. I forwarded them all to my attorney. At school drop-offs, I noticed the whispers, the side glances, the once friendly smiles turned cold. The story spread quickly, helped by an anonymous email Walter had sent. One photo attached, the ringless tan line captioned, "What a loving wife forgets while cheating." Her world unraveled. Arya was removed from her charity board, ousted from the PTA, ghosted by the women who once envied her curated life. Her Instagram, once full of polished family pictures, went silent. Then the final blow. Walter changed his will. The family trust, once intended for Arya and Celeste, was reassigned exclusively to the grandchildren. Gavin and Darren were named as sole trustees. When Arya discovered this, she drove to my door, pounding like a woman possessed. "You told him. You poisoned him against me." "No," I said calmly. "You did that yourself." Tears ran through her smeared mascara. "I messed up, I know, but I love you. I never stopped." I crossed my arms. "Then tell me his middle name." She blinked. "What?" "Landon," I said. "The man you loved so much. What's his middle name?" She looked stunned, empty, exposed. "You don't know, do you?" She shook her head, defeated. "Then don't stand here pretending it was love." I shut the door. That night, after the kids slept, I stood in the kitchen, staring at the chair where Arya used to sit each morning. I didn't feel victorious, just free. Not from the marriage, but from the illusion. 3 weeks later, Arya moved into a small rented condo across town. It smelled like fresh paint and regret. She saw the kids every other weekend. At first she tried pizza nights, board games, movies. But children notice more than we think. Eli stopped calling her Mom. He started calling her Arya. Josie once asked, "Why doesn't Mommy wear her ring anymore?" I told her gently, "Sometimes grown-ups forget what matters most. But we never stop loving you." Saying that nearly broke me. At school, Eli got into his first fight. A boy called Arya, the tan line woman from Facebook. Eli punched him hard enough to split his lip. I was called in. The principal lectured me on discipline and emotional control. I listened, then asked Eli, "If your mom destroyed your life for a 2-week fling, what would you do?" He had no answer. Eli was suspended for 2 days. We went camping instead. Arya called during the trip. Answered. "I want to explain," she said. "Explain what?" I asked. "Why you laughed with him while I was raising our children," she whispered. "I felt invisible," she admitted. "But he made me feel wanted again. Like I was more than just a mom or a wife. Like I was still a woman." "You were always a woman," I said. "You just stopped being a wife." She cried quietly, painfully. "I hate myself. I miss our family. I wake up every day wishing I hadn't done it." She listened. Then I told her, "Arya, I forgave you the moment I saw the emails. Not because you deserved it, but because I refused to let your betrayal shape who I would become next." She was silent for a long while. Finally she asked, "Are you seeing someone else?" "No," I said. "But when I look in the mirror now, I see someone who survived you, and that's more than enough." Meanwhile, Celeste and Darren's divorce grew bitter. Celeste refused to sign the property settlement, still clinging to the idea of reconciliation. Darren wasn't interested. Then he dropped a bomb. A USB drive containing a screen recording of Miles, the man from the hotel, trying to extort her. He wasn't a travel blogger at all. He was a con artist, a serial seducer of married women for gifts and access. When that footage played in court, the judge didn't hesitate. Darren gained full custody. Celeste left the state and moved in with her mother. I began journaling to process everything. Over time, those entries turned into reflections, then chapters, and eventually a manuscript. I called it 10 Lines of Truth. How I Survived My Wife's Affair. Walter read the first draft and cried. You turned pain into purpose, he said. That same week, a small independent publisher offered me a deal. The book was raw, no sugarcoating, no melodrama, just honest moments, both humiliating and human. I didn't protect Arya's image, but I didn't destroy it either. I simply told the truth. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Landon's wife filed a lawsuit against Arya. Defamation, emotional distress, professional damage. She had lost her job, her marriage, her public life. Arya called me in a panic. They're going to take everything. I don't even have a lawyer. I told her, sell your condo. Maybe then you'll understand what it feels like to lose a home. Hung up. I stayed civil for the kids. Emails about appointments, birthdays, school events, but that was it. Arya emailed me on our anniversary. 15 years ago today I wore white. You cried as I walked down the aisle. Your hand shook. I didn't respond. I remembered how easily she let those hands be replaced. Life, as it always does, moved on. So did I. One afternoon at a cafe I met someone. Not romantically, just a conversation. She was a widow. Her grief was different but familiar. I envy you, she said gently. Why? I asked. Because your pain has a villain. Mine doesn't. That makes healing harder. I thought about that for days. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was lucky in a way. Time passed. Life wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. I made breakfast, handled school runs, read bedtime stories. No more lies, no more masks. Just truth and healing. One morning Walter stopped by. He looked healthier, lighter. I'm proud of how you handled all this, he said. You broke the cycle. My daughters didn't, but you did. That meant more than he knew. A few weeks later, I saw Arya again at Eli's school concert. She looked smaller, diminished.